Republican Congressman and Dr. Larry Bucshon. Representative Bucshon, thank you for being here, sir.
You're welcome.
So you may have heard a little bit of frustration in my voice. The Congress is looking at a clock that is ticking. First of all, will there be a government shutdown given the progress of things today?
No, I don't think anyone wants a government shutdown. House Republicans certainly do not. The President doesn't.
Wanting one, sir, and making activity and creating votes and creating bills that will lead to one is a different thing. I don't think anybody wants one. Will there be one?
No, I don't think there will be one. Look, I think that the House Republicans are going to, this evening, vote on a reasonable CR that's going to also delay Obamacare by a year. Polling shows that over 50% of Americans think it's not being implemented properly. It's just not ready for prime time. Also, the medical device tax, important to Indiana and the rest of the country, got 79 votes in the Senate. So the other thing is funding the troops, making sure if there happen to be a shutdown, we fund our troops. I think those are very important things. Look, the House and the Senate are two different bodies, and both need to do their work.
No matter how one feels about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, same thing, is it responsible to hold the entire federal government hostage over something that was fairly voted on and signed into law over 3 years ago?
Well, I don't think anyone's holding anyone hostage. I think that it's important for the House to do its work, and House Republicans have the majority. I think, the President and Senator Reid think that compromise means agreeing with them on everything, and, the House Republicans are in the majority in the House, and our constituents expect us to do our work, and that's what we're doing. And in my district, people who don't like the health care bill, they think the implementation is going very poorly. Businesses are cutting out full-time employment, cutting people's hours to 29 hours. People aren't expanding. At the end of the day, as a physician, I want everyone in this country to have quality, affordable health care at a reasonable price. The Obamacare bill doesn't accomplish that goal. Over 31 million people by 2023 will still be uninsured, according to the CBO. 7 million people are going to lose their employer-based health insurance based on this. So I think we're being responsible. We'll see what the Senate does, and we need to work together. At the end of the day, no one wants the government to shut down.
Now, Representative Bucshon, I'm just curious. Your assessment of Harry Reid and the Democrats, how you say they're not willing to negotiate at all. Are you willing, sir, to take the mirror, if you will, of that statement and turn it right around on those Tea Party conservative Republicans who aren't they doing the same?
Well, in the Republican conference, of course, you have a variety of different opinions on what direction to take. And I think that, at the end of the day, House Republicans are going to do the responsible thing. And we're going to pass bills that we believe in, that we believe are right for the country, and see what the Senate does. I think that, just to say because certain people in the Senate won't accept this doesn't mean that the House has to do what the Senate wants. We're two separate bodies. And, if we went along with that, why be in the majority in the House? When you have a House majority, we were voted by the American people to be in the majority, and they expect us to do our work.
Dr. Bucshon, is there any place, sir, where you are willing to compromise?
Well, I have worked with Democrats across the aisle on drug shortages. I've worked on a CDL bill, a driver's license bill for veterans. I've done all kinds of things. I just passed a sleep apnea bill. So, yeah,
But relative to this particular, in terms of what everything is all stewing over right now, the Affordable Care Act, is there a place where you can see compromise that you'd be willing to go along?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think that, the medical device tax is something that probably has a lot of votes in the Senate. So, I don't like to speculate on what the Senate will do. But, assuming that what the Democrats want in the Senate and in the White House is necessarily the right approach to the American people is an assumption I'm not willing to make. And I think House Republicans are going to do the responsible thing that we think is the best approach for the American people and for physicians out there that are trying to take care of patients every day, which I was for 15 years, and know that this bill is not going to insure everyone, and know that people are going to be without health insurance, and we're going to have all kinds of other problems in the health care market.
Sir, let's take a listen to part of President Obama's speech on Thursday. Here's that.
Sure.
In the wealthiest nation on earth, no one should go broke just because they get sick. In the United States of America, health care is not a privilege for the fortunate few. It is a right.
So, Dr. Bucshon, I'm going to address you from that level. I mean, 15 years as a practicing physician, sir. Have you seen people financially destroyed by an illness or an accident? And if so, how do you respond to the president?
Well, I haven't personally, because you know what? My hospital and myself always wrote off 100% of the bills to people that couldn't afford to pay, because as a heart surgeon, I felt like it didn't matter to me what type of insurance people had. I treated everybody the same. You know, there are Republican ideas. We had an alternative to Obamacare, which would get us to where we need to go. Dr. Price has an approach, H.R. 2300, which gets us to where we need to go to insure everyone. And, you know, the premise of trying to make sure that everyone has quality, affordable health care in a timely manner is something we all agree with. And I think there's a lot of Republican alternatives out there that get us to where we need to go without having the federal government really encroaching on everything we do in our lives with databases and all kinds of other requirements in the Obamacare bill.
Well, Congressman and Dr. Larry Bucshon, thank you for your time here on MSNBC.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.